Starting this video at a Fort Lauderdale classic, Jaxson's Ice Cream Parlor. They have giant ice cream sundaes, root beer floats, and banana splits here. If you're on a diet, this is not the place for you. Jaxson's has been serving this huge dessert since 1956. All their ice cream is made daily, right here. Their signature dessert is the world-famous kitchen sink. It's gargantuan. There's even a Gibberly here. Yay! Checking out the dinner menu first. Typical Americana menu of hamburgers, hot dogs, and chicken sandwiches. Also some other hot and cold sandwiches, including a variety of wraps, and also some salads to choose from. But Jaxson's is known for the humongous desserts. On the left are all kinds of sundaes. Also, that kitchen sink is in there. A pound of ice cream per person, 5 toppings, plus bananas, tons of whipped cream, and topped with a sparkler. Plus they sound an alarm when they bring it out to you. But first, our dinner is served. Mama got this pastrami Reuben on toasted marble rye bread with pickles and coleslaw. I got this mac and cheese burger. I can't wait to eat this. This looks delicious. Dada got this buffalo chicken wrap. This is a rye bread wrap. Everything here looks really good. Also this appetizer of onion rings, which I don't think we ordered. Take a look at this, the chocolate suicide sundae. We actually got chocolate peanut butter ice cream. They gave us an extra sidecar of hot fudge. This thing is huge, even for 3 of us. Well, we gave it a shot, and all 3 of us could not finish this. We had to throw the white napkin in on this one. We're completely amped up on the sugar right now.
I feel like you could turn it to the Flash. Just run home.
This whole meal was fantastic. It's on US 1, a couple of miles south of the Fort Lauderdale airport.
The next day.
Hey guys, it's Emily. Welcome everyone. We want to get Wendy's for breakfast, but it's kind of closed. So we got some McDonald's. Still really hot. Today I'm checking out some places in the greater Fort Lauderdale area. So our first stop is my dada's old high school, St. Thomas. And we'll check out some places in Fort Lauderdale later. I'm ready for a nice day. Let's go. Starting this morning at St. Thomas Aquinas High School, home of the Raiders. This is a prominent high school, both for academics and athletics. This edifice on the left opened 10 years ago, the Biennis Center for the Arts. Many arts performances are held here. Now walking over to the main entrance on the right, aside from the fencing, my dada says the entrance looks pretty much the same as it did nearly 40 years ago. That's a really long time. Not able to go inside the campus, long gone are the days where you could just walk through a school campus. Driving along the school, on the right is a Catholic grammar school, Our Lady Queen of Martyrs. Not a school my dada attended. We'll see that school later. This high school has a parking garage? Dada says the structure is fairly new. Also, Dada didn't have a car back then and sold his guaranteed senior year parking spot to a junior. Well played, Dada. Well played. Now heading east, it's not far from my dada's childhood home. Note those 3 palm trees in the median. I'll talk about what used to be there before they rebuilt this interchange. This is the Shady Pines neighborhood, and we're checking out Hort Park in the center of this neighborhood. 40 years ago, this used to be a grammar school. Not sure why they tore down the school and made a park, but my dada attended the school that was once here. He was out of the school for second grade for just 1 week. He was pulled out of the school and into a nearby Catholic school, which you'll see later. Today this is a nice park with tennis and basketball courts, a baseball diamond, and plenty of space to play a pickup football game. Now going to see my dad's childhood home on this dead-end street. All these homes were built in the mid-1960s. There it is in front of us with the driveway cover. Fairly modest house, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, and a carport that had been converted into a lanai. This house is very close to I-95 and the airport, so there were lots of cars and plane noises at all times of the day. My dad's first job was at a McDonald's just down the street. The McDonald's doesn't exist here anymore. The road up there used to go under I-95, and when they redid the interchange, they put that road over the interstate and had to remove some businesses. Along that wall on the right used to be the road that led to the McDonald's parking lot. See those 3 palm trees from earlier? That's the point where McDonald's used to be. Taking another look at the wall on the right that bends around to the left. There was also a bank where that wall ends on the left. Today, it's a retention pond for rainwater. Alright, moving on. Not far away, I'm at a small park along the North Fork near River, going to zoom in on that bridge over there. This is the Snow Reef Swinging Bridge, and it rotates when large boats need to cross. This bridge is more commonly known as the 11th Street Bridge. It was constructed in 1925. It's the oldest bridge in Fort Lauderdale and one of just 10 swinging bridges that still operate in Florida. It would have been cool to see this bridge rotate, but we've got a few stops this morning. Now at Lewis Landing Park, there's just 1 parking space at this park and we've got it. This park has a couple of guard ducks or hungry ducks. Take your pick. There's a very short walkway along the river, but it's got a good view of a geographical feature across the river. Do you see this piece of land that juts out and the river bends around it? This land feature is called Little Florida because of its resemblance to the shape of Florida. Here's a map. The arrow points to Little Florida, and actually looking beyond Little Florida, it looks like the whole eastern half of the United States. Also on this map is the 11th Street Bridge, which we just crossed. The land where Little Florida sits has an estate built in 1937. It has 650 feet of waterfront and a constant breeze due to the water bordering the property on many sides. There's those ducks again looking for food. Looks like on this property they've recovered shark vertebrae and teeth. This marker talks about the Lewis family, who settled in what is now Broward County in 1792. I don't think Florida was even a state back then. The family harvested many types of fruit and in 1830 sold the land for $400. The marker was on this display of the Tequesta Indians. This other marker notes that this tribe lived in southeast Florida, which includes this river 5,000 years ago. There were also artifacts of a Tequesta Indian village found in this park, so that ties back to the shark bones mentioned earlier. Those crazy ducks are on the prowl again. Time to continue to my next stop. Now heading to the Las Olas riverfront area for some art.
This is probably one of the creepier things I've seen.
I'm not quite sure what to make of this sculpture. The sculpture is 8 feet tall and features a woman opening her heart, I think. You can walk inside the opening and there are various plants growing inside. That's pretty cool how they did that. It's like walking inside a small garden. This is just a couple of years old according to this marker. The sculpture is called Thrive and created by artist Daniel Popper. Over here, right on the water, is the sculpture that incorporates a piece of a train track. This is part of a subway line recovered from the terrorist attack on 9/11. The line went under the World Trade Center. Some views of the new river, which I'll see more of later. Still quite cloudy out, but the clouds will break this afternoon. Next up is where my dada attended elementary school. This is St. Jerome Catholic School. This is not a large school. I think only 200 kids go here, spanning pre-K 3 up to 8th grade. Over here is the church. They're having a service today and I won't be able to go inside. This is bringing a lot of memories back for my dada. This edifice was constructed in 1961, and the nuns from the Order of St. Philip Neri, who had just months earlier escaped from the Fidel Castro regime, came to this school and church. Those nuns served St. Jerome for 55 years. Wanted to get a quick drive-by of the school before heading off. Again, we have a school that is completely fenced in. To the right is the cafeteria, then 2 rows of classrooms. Each class is about 20 to 25 students, not very big at all. Now heading to historic Evergreen Cemetery, about 4 miles east of the school. Many of Fort Lauderdale's founding families are buried here, and also other notable people. At the end of the road is where businessman and sports magnate Wayne Huizenga is buried. Huizenga bought Blockbuster Video in 1987, made it a powerhouse in video and game rental, and sold the company in 1994 for $8.4 billion. There's Wayne Huizenga on the left side. He passed away in 2018 at age 80. On the right, his father Garrett Huizenga, a great businessman as well. Wayne Huizenga also owned Waste Management, AutoNation, and 3 pro sports teams: NFL's Miami Dolphins, Major League Baseball's Miami Marlins, and National Hockey League's Florida Panthers. Over here is the resting place for Joyce Huizenga, the mother of Wayne Huizenga. She was in the medical field for a while, but her passion was in the arts, particularly painting. In the same cemetery, also in the same section, is another popular figure. He was originally a dramatic actor, but he decided to take a comedic role in the 1980 film Airplane, and his whole career changed. This is the resting place of Leslie Nielsen. He has a bench that he invites visitors to sit down on whenever you can. But the comedic genius of Leslie Nielsen is his epitaph. Let her rip. How cool is that? Looks like people have left some items on his headstone, including this light-up eyeball, of course some airplanes for those 2 airplane movies. Also, there is a very old can of something, not sure of what.
What is that? Hi.
The king of movie parodies. Right there. Leslie Nielsen.
I'm so confused at why there's an eyeball here. It's solar-powered eyeball.
Before I leave, there's one more person in the cemetery I'm visiting. My great-grandmother is buried here. Her epitaph reads, "And flights of angels sing thee to thy rest." This is from Hamlet. Heading back to the downtown Fort Lauderdale area, and eventually making it to the beach. This is the Henry E. Kinney Tunnel, for a long time the only tunnel in the state of Florida. There is now a tunnel leading to Port Miami, but this one was built in 1960 and goes 35 feet below sea level. The tunnel was named for Henry Kinney in 1986. He was a prominent newspaperman who advocated for a tunnel in the 1950s. Now driving through the popular Las Olas entertainment district. Lots of good restaurants and shopping are found here. This is an extremely busy area at night and particularly on weekends. There are also art galleries, museums, spas, and other businesses on this thoroughfare. Between the shopping district and the beach are very, 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 very pricey homes. Beautiful homes all on the water. Living the dream. Now crossing the intercoastal waterway. Notice the clouds are breaking now, and looking forward to a gorgeous afternoon. Gonna take a little boat ride. And the boat ride will be on the Jungle Queen. They've been doing boat tours since 1935. They have 90-minute tours, which is the tour I'll be taking shortly. Also on evenings they have dinner cruises which feature all-you-can-eat ribs and a special show. But today I'll take the 90-minute cruise along the river to downtown and then to Port Everglades. Gonna be a great boat ride. And the early bird gets the worm, so to speak. Front row, starboard, or right-hand side of the boat. Even now, a nice view of A1A. Hey, there's a manatee swimming down there. Alright, just about ready to head out.
Better hurry, it's going under.
And the clouds have almost completely gone away. Gonna get some great views of the skyline and some expensive homes right off the water.
This is a non-smoking vessel that includes your e-cigarettes, vapor cigarettes.
We're briefly heading north on the intercoastal waterway. The bridge in the distance is Las Olas Boulevard, the bridge we just drove over.
You get where I'm going. Head any further north than here. So as we spin around, I always like to point out
these homes on the river are said to be on Millionaire's Row.
It's the one that's
all
got
these
the
homes are
concrete pilings
large
with the
estate
floating
homes,
dock,
beautiful
not the one that's
landscaping,
off to our right
and
hand side right now, the ones
many
to the
have
left of it,
infinity
with
pools.
the two staircases going up into the front door. Call that one the butter. Hearing about that, I started doing some research on my own, and I gotta tell you, I'm not so sold on that whole Bermuda Triangle thing quite yet. See, I sent my mother-in-law on 3 cruises through the Bermuda Triangle, and she came back all 3 times. So I'm not so sold on that thing. But persistence is key. We'll try again next year. I always like talking about this.
This estate with a gazebo is the former property of the CEO of Anheuser-Busch. 9 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, 14,000 square feet. Now starting to get our first glimpse of the Fort Lauderdale skyline. Lots of beautiful houses along the water.
Block his beautiful view of downtown. So he did what any normal person would do, and 3 weeks and $8 million later, his neighbor's house became his sculpture garden and the dock for his yacht. And I don't know if you know her by that name, but I'm sure you know her real name. The boats that are there, and tomorrow afternoon, Sunday afternoon, is when it gets its busiest. And if you have a boat wanting to move
Look at this home going in. 3 stories. Also, I see the seawall is a little higher than the surrounding properties.
Anyone on here ever shopped using Kohl's Cash? Yeah. Pamela Huizenga, the sister to Wayne Huizenga, who we'll talk about in just a little bit. She trailer on a $7 million piece of tape.
This home with the big awning is actually a double wide. Really. Probably the most expensive mobile home on earth.
The HOA required that there be... That's what's called a shotgun style house, and I learned something a couple days ago from someone on the boat.
This house looks like it is right out of the 1960s or 1970s.
Is the entering an area of the river I call Wayne's World. If you don't know who Wayne Huizenga was, I'm going to tell you. Founder of Pet Supermarkets and Pet Supplies for other pets, the casino, and they paid just over $1 billion for that property over there.
Now going around on what is known as Tarpon Bend. There's a really nice estate on the right.
On the left-hand side, call this one the Harry Potter house. They did sell the house.
This home sold for $7.4 million last year. 8,500 square feet, 8 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms. 10.
But if anyone on down here.
Now look at this brand new house. 7 beds, 13 baths,
Nick Nolte, he was doing his
$35 million.
Wound up on probation. I come up here on the right hand side, you got another light wood dock over here. You go into those French doors, and you make a left, you're going to be standing inside that 1,100 square foot kitchen. Because anyone looking to buy some property out here on the river? On the right hand side, you see these green condos?
These condos have been here since the early 1960s.
Back in 1972, and getting a quick wash. This is the start of the Riverside Hotel.
All these high-rise condos are relatively new. The higher floors have views of the ocean.
Down for about, I'd say, I don't know, another 100. Down about 30 feet, you'd be right on top of one of the longest roads in
The two-story house is the Stranahan House Museum. Frank
Frank
Stranahan founded Fort Lauderdale in 1901.
Key West as Overseas Highway, and it runs all the way north to Fort Kent, Maine. And most of it's still in the original state. And if you get lucky, you might get to a certain speed to where the bridge cannot safely operate, and hurricanes after a certain point, they'll lock the bridges down.
Coming up on the first of 3 drawbridges. This is the 3rd
But other
Street
than
Bridge.
that, they are 24/7, 365, and it is very, very crucial for them on this waterway because of how popular it is for boats, and not just for recreational. If we were to keep going for about another 25 minutes up this river, we would wind up at some of the biggest boatyards in the world. We have what's called Marina Mile. You may have seen signs for it. It's a road, State Road 84 is also Marina Mile. It's the same road. And that is just for about a mile and a half. You just have boatyard after boatyard after boatyard where they can do anything and everything from something as small as a jet ski all the way up to 200-foot yachts, whatever it is you do. And it can get pretty tight for some of these yachts. I mean, just to give you a frame of reference, the Jungle Queen's about 80 feet long, 30 feet wide, and we don't have much of a problem getting up here. It obviously is tight, but the biggest yacht on record to have come up this river was being towed. Imagine something that size doing the same thing we're doing here. And as you get further up, it only gets narrow. No, the tide won't go anywhere else.
Look at this house. All sides are like a painted mural.
Hey! On the left-hand side, you see this restaurant of what I was talking about these big yachts getting towed in and out, because I see on
Just
the other
3
side
blocks
of the bridge,
away
we got one
is
of
the
our
second
towing
drawbridge.
companies
This is
towing a
Andrews
yacht out of
Avenue.
here. And they're towing them not because they're broken. 99.9% of the time, the yachts that are getting towed in and out of here, they're perfectly fine, but insurance requires that they be towed because of how tight of a space it is, and they know that unless you're familiar with the river, the odds of you coming in contact with something you probably shouldn't is fairly high. So over here on the right hand side, I'll point this out. See this little park over here with the amphitheater? That was something donated by Huizenga. Like I said, he was very generous. If you go throughout the city, you'll see his name all over the place. Huizenga Plaza, Huizenga Park right over here, Huizenga Pavilion, Huizenga Street. It's all over the place. And this is because unlike cars, boats don't have brakes. So the tugboat in the back is when he's got to come to a stop, he'll drive the other way. You'll see they're towing the tug in the back, they're towing it backwards. So that way he can go technically forward and use his motor.
This is where we were earlier, seeing that sculpture. This area is known as the wharf at Las Olas Riverfront. The 3rd drawbridge is from the railroad. This bridge is very low and backs up boat traffic when the bridge is in the down position.
To get up and over the bridge, you can just go through a tunnel, so this bridge would only go down 4 or 5 times a day.
Over here is another museum showcasing Fort Lauderdale
This is a real nice restaurant over here called the Parlor Republic. Boat and stay still and not rock around. And they'll give you.
This is where we turn around. The area is the Arts District. There is a performing arts center and a discovery museum.
And the main thing that gets people
And an IMAX theater.
is it's much. Alright, we're spinning around and we're going to go exactly the way we just came. We're going to see everything in reverse. We're going to head down down to the port. I want to go over a couple things before I put the mic down for a couple minutes, let you guys relax. First is those boarding photos you guys had taken when you were getting on the boat. Photographer will be making his way around. Not to be EMR, you hit that blue button and you took a ticket out of the machine. When you go
Now heading back
you're gonna
east,
insert
the way
that
we
original
came.
ticket. When
Now
it
look
asks
at the
you to
skyline
pay,
from
you're
this
gonna
direction.
scan the QR code you get from us. If you have no idea, and yeah, hope you guys are enjoying so far. If you
This
have
is a
any
boating
questions,
fuel
feel free
delivery
to-
business. Not a bad idea. Waiting patiently while the Andrews Avenue Bridge goes into the raised position. That's not a bad spot to have lunch. Rubber ducky on that boat. That big building with a great river view is the county jail. Remember that tunnel we drove through earlier? We're going over it right now. Apparently some soccer players occupy this riverfront estate. Directly in front of us, and then after we make this turn, all these estates, all of them, are owned by descendants of Wayne Huizenga. That's an amazing 3-level gazebo. These are all beautiful homes with very distinctive colors. This is the last magnificent Huizenga estate. This estate has floor-to-ceiling dark windows, 5 beds, 7 baths, $10 million, occupied by just one person. We're about to make a right turn, head toward Port Everglades to see a lot of cruise ships. It's shallow over there. These are all floating bars where you can get adult beverages. These blue windows can change color. That's cool. Look at this $25 million estate with the columns, and there's a couple of people sitting on their land. Those two are living the dream. This estate looks like it's undergoing a remodel. This is going to be beautiful once finished. Approaching the 17th Street Causeway, and lots of boat traffic out here on this beautiful afternoon. Here's the 15th Street Fisheries, a popular seafood restaurant. Very good food here according to my dada. This bridge is nice and tall, so we don't need to wait for the bridge to go up. Now we've reached Port Everglades, one of the largest cruise ship ports in the world. Looks like the big TV atop that cruise ship is on. Port Everglades holds the world record for the most docked cruise ships at 14. Port Everglades is also a busy port for trade as well.
On some days, but 7 is a good number.
The Atlantic Ocean is directly in front of us. We're now making a U-turn and heading back toward the dock where we started.
And we did cruises that leave out of Miami. They're your 2-night or your 3-night cruises, your quick shoot out for a couple nights.
These homes look like they're on the beach because of the sand. When Hurricane Katrina made its first U.S. landfall here, it pushed all the sand up into the yards. The problem is the boat docks are now unusable, and you can't swim in the river. As a result, property values decreased about 25% for these
And that
homes.
dropped their property values by about 16%. It was a big hit. The Army Corps of Engineers did into those islands. There's just not, either the water's not deep enough or they don't have the docking facilities. Aquarius spends a lot of time.
Over here is Pier 66, originally built by a former executive of the Phillips 66 oil company.
And since they bought it, the owner's been on the boat for about 4.5 years ago. A guy named Joe Lewis, another businessman. He's the 5th richest man in Britain. Net worth of about $5 billion. And he's big into hotels and condos. Industries about 6 years ago. It's a production company, and they use that house as just a set up for shows. A couple.
Many sports stars live in these estates over here.
That house has photochromatic windows. Touch of a button, they can. Nobody lives there. It's owned by his grandson now. All we ever see there is that groundskeeper just taking care of the house. He retired about 15 years ago as the CEO of Seagram's Distilleries. There's always a couple. Well, if you pay attention to NASCAR, you'll probably know this name. Even if you don't pay attention to NASCAR, you might still know. On the right-hand side, you see the house with the orange barrel tile roof on the corner over there where this canal splits. It's got the floating dock right out back, all the palm trees in the backyard. That's the full-time residence of Rick Hendrick. He's the founder of Sense. For every single car, truck, or van that went across General Motors assembly line for the next 30 years.
So many gorgeous estates on this side. Many of these properties are worth at least $10 million, and there are a number of them that exceed $20 million.
Venture capitalists, there's nothing funny about them. 2 people live in that house.
And some are incredibly large like this one, 20,000 square feet, and it has a whopping 17 bathrooms. This White House is worth $33 million, another one occupied by just one person. The architecture of these houses are so different, not like typical neighborhoods, where all the homes look the same. Each house has a unique look.
Before he was Tarzan, he was an Olympic swimmer. He had happy hour because Johnny Weissmuller and Nick Nolte would spend some time over there. The Bush family, not the political Bushes, the brewery Bushes. That house was built in 1950.
And this yacht with a W on it? Owned by the owner of WeatherTech, the company that makes the fancy floor car liners.
If the pay, you're going to scan the QR code you got from us and the gate.
Now we're back. This is a really great boat ride to downtown Fort Lauderdale and then out to Port Everglades. The weather could not have been any better. Oh my goodness. Everyone is at this beach this afternoon. It's about 75 degrees, perfect weather right now. The sidewalks are crowded, the beach is crowded. It's a busy afternoon in Fort Lauderdale. I'm heading toward the next big intersection, which is Sunrise Boulevard, and cross back onto the mainland.
And that's it from Fort Lauderdale. I just have one question though. Does this building look like a washing machine to anyone? We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye!